MyMac Podcast 898. Get new stuff.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's mighty MyMac
So
podcast
mighty.
with, yes, the G-Men, Guy and myself. Now, folks, neither Guy nor I aren't made out of money, which is a good thing since random pieces of coloured paper can't do podcasts. But we can afford a few luxuries or items to replace current luxuries, maybe. So in the second section, part 2, we're going to talk about what we have and what we'd replace it with. And maybe, just maybe, tangentially, why. Hi, Guy. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Gaz.
Good. That's what
Boy, that was a really odd start to the show this week. Not
really?
that, like, every week isn't sometimes odd.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this week in particular, it was like,
Yeah.
What? What? Nor? Which will be funny if you watch the snippets.
Talking about snippets.
Yeah, tangentially. There we go.
Are you thinking about maybe changing up the video content that you put out on YouTube, Guy?
As of about 5 minutes ago, yes, Gaz, I am. And I'll tell you why. Here's the thing, folks. For the last probably year to a year and a half, I have been putting out the entire mymac.com podcast, which is typically about an hour long, Gaz, on video. And I get about 2 views. And I think one of them is mine. So you're not watching it.
Can I put my hand up?
Sure.
Can I say the other one isn't mine?
Yep, see, there you go. But what I did last week, and it was very easy to do, and it was a lot of fun, was I put out some little snippets, and I haven't decided whether, because if you watch them, you'll see that it varies wildly across the board, whether they're called snippets or little bits, or, there's like 2 or 3 different things that I call them, either in the title or as I say it. So I haven't quite decided yet, but these are like
making searching for them really easy.
He does. But he's like, is it little bits? Is it snip? I don't know what he's talking about. I'll go watch the hour-long version instead, which was the master plan all along. No, it really wasn't.
No.
But these are like 2 to 3 minute little bits and pieces of the main show, and sometimes even the after show.
Set bits and pieces. I won't sing the rest.
And I think that people would be willing to watch 2 to 3 minute little bits, pieces, snippets, whatever you want to call it. I'll figure that out in post. As compared to the hour long of us just standing there going, I don't know. Snippets, I don't know. Gaz's tips, I don't know. Guy's topic. And
okay. We'll have to wait and see how that goes, and we'll let you do it. That's a bit of work on your side, so we'll see.
Well, there were 9 of them last week. And I didn't even get to the first break in the show, and I had 9 snippets already.
That's a
lot.
So what's all this talk about Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr? Because I can't remember what you were going on about last week.
Well, for the people that were paying attention,
I'm only talking.
Obviously, not Gaz. What?
I'm only talking to you directly.
Yeah, exactly. Peter had tickets to see Paul McCartney, which he went to see on his birthday at June 12th, which I shouldn't have said because now everybody knows what Peter's birthday is. But it doesn't matter. He saw Paul McCartney on his birthday.
That might
Not
come
on
out.
Paul McCartney's birthday.
That might come out on the show as June.
And when I was talking to him about it prior to going to the concert, he told me that Ringo Starr was going to be playing down in Richmond on the 21st. not on Peter's birthday or Paul's birthday or Ringo's birthday, just on the 21st of June. So I went ahead and I got 7 tickets, and that was tickets for Tracy and me, Peter and his significant other, my son Guy and his significant other, and a friend of Peter's who is basically part of the family. And we were all going to go in a big group to see this concert, except 2 members of Ringo Starr's all-star band right after, and this happened like right after we finished recording, came down with COVID. So they canceled like all of they had the concert, or the tour split up into 2 sections. There was like an earlier section and a later section, and the later section starts in like late September. So what they did was they postponed all of the shows from June and early July, and they've moved those now to early mid-September. So September 20th is the new date for the Ringo Starr and his all-star band concert down in Richmond. So that's when we're going to go, because it would make no sense to go on the 21st because he won't be there. I mean, we could stand there. Yeah, we could just stand there and go, wow, this is a really nice place. Look at that. La, 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 la. No, that's just not going to work.
No.
People would look at us very oddly. Yeah, it's like, oh, what a change. How unusual would that be?
Not unusual at all.
Not at all. So what have you been up to, guys?
Again, little on MyMac this week. But I did mention, I think, on the Mac and Forth show when we were talking about the iOS, I did talk about...
Because that's as far as you got.
Yeah, well, I was talking about, this new image capture that the new iOS can do that is coming out in iOS
continuity
16.
Or Stage Manager?
No. I'm talking about in imagery where the photo, you go into a photo and you can easily crop out a person, an animal, an object to then
like masking. Okay.
Yeah, but it does it automatically, and it does it, does it really well, apparently. And I said, just on the Mac and Forth show, well, how good is it to, could it pick out a camouflage soldier in the jungle with a jungle background? And Dean over at Mac and Forth showed that it can do it. And apparently it does it quite well. I did see the image and it did quite a good job. But I actually then thought, I think that Apple have come out with a new process for camouflaged equipment manufacturers. They could use it just to see how good their clothing really is against the background.
I can't see it.
Very good. Boom, boom. You're here all week. Yeah.
Tip your waiters and waitresses.
Yeah. But other than that, not a great deal this week. Pretty quiet on the Apple front in terms of doing stuff on any of my machines. And I think the people have enough of hearing about your life. I don't think they want to hear about my life as well.
Yeah, Guy's Daily Drive.
Yeah. Anyway, what Moki mic are you using this week?
Well, the Moke I'm using this week is it's I swear I love this microphone. It's the Lewitt LCT 440.
Have you gone back to that?
I'm actually going to have to probably take this off because this is basically what I've been using for a long time.
Yeah.
However, there is news on the microphone front.
Oh.
And if you go to the MacStock Conference and Expo, here's a tangential push.
Nice.
Which is going to be on July 23rd and 24th, and that's from memory, Gaz. I can't remember the title of the show, but by God, I know the date of the MacStock Conference and Expo, which will be funny if you watch the video for the show. Yeah. So
22nd, 23rd, did you say?
No, 23rd, 24th.
No, you're right. Yeah, that's the Saturday and the Sunday. It's this calendar. Yep. It's got Saturday at one end and Sunday at the other. No, I'll have to change that for you.
How does that happen?
Well, it's I don't know.
All right. Well, for people who have been going to the MacStock Conference and Expo since it began in 2015, I carry a lot of gear. Every single year. One year, I took a 4x4 audio interface, 4 microphones, 4 mic stands, and I never had more than one person to talk to the entire time because I'm stupid that way. So what I've done is I'm trying to consolidate down as far as I can and still have good audio. So what I did was I bought another Rode NT USB mini or mini USB, whichever one that goes, like I used a couple of weeks ago and uses Rode Connect software. So now I have 2 of those. And these are like just little square mics. They're not that big. And a cable to connect them to a computer or a hub. And that's it. So I don't have, all of the different microphones. I don't have the audio interface. I don't have all the XLR cables. All of that I'm just going to leave behind. I won't need it. And I'll have these 2 Rodecaster mics instead. So there'll be a lot less stuff for me to have to carry.
And everybody's so pleased for you.
Yeah, I can tell from the applause. Honestly, I think that's all we have for the beginning part of the show.
So what do you mean for the beginning part of the show? So
yeah,
now
before we actually get to content that isn't about you and me.
Well, you.
Which we've been on for 10, 15 minutes. Oh, please, we get some of you in there. Well, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's all about me and, gas.
Yeah. Guy and Gaz.
Yes.
But now we're going over to Gaz's snippets. Like it. Right. Okay. So there is a new Spectre-like Pac-Man flaw that could affect ARM-based chips. Now, I heard about this on, I think it's Security Now with Steve Gibson. And boy, I got lost fairly early in the technicalities behind this. But at the end of the piece,
Technobabble.
Yeah, after all of that, the very end of it, the result was there's no need to worry.
Yeah.
So if you hear about this Pac-Man, and there's a reason it's called Pac-Man, not because of the old well, it is because of the old because it's called Pac-Man, and there is a pack. And go and listen to the technicalities, but don't panic, folks, if you hear lots of people talking about this Pac-Man flaw in ARM chips.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's all of the ARM
chips.
It's
yeah.
not just Apple Silicon.
M-series.
No. Obviously, they're going to find out about it first, which probably may well give them an edge on how to find a way to not fix it, because I don't think it's fixable, but to make it more difficult to utilize it. So that's my
all they basically have to do, because the flaw involves a process. So if you don't use that process, and I'm trying to break it down into something that isn't going to take Steve Gibson 30 minutes to say, well, you don't have to worry about it. Because that's like so bait and switch. It really is. But it's a process to exploit it. So if you don't use that process, it can't be exploited. So there's nothing to worry about. That's 30 minutes of Star Trek E's technobabble condensed down to under 5 seconds.
Yeah, in our inimitable way of doing it. Inimitable? Is that a word? I don't think that's
inevitable. Indubitable. I don't know what the word is either.
Anyway, my favorite, and yes, Carl, I did steal it from you, but I don't care. You know my plagiarism. Ming Chi Kuo. Apple's iPhone 14 to feature a massive front camera upgrade. The only reason I brought that in is because, one, we don't do rumors, but I do like Ming Chi Kuo. So that's the end of that one.
Well, hold on. Have they decided it's going to be called the iPhone 14? I think that's the important part.
I think it's going to be called the iPhone maybe 14. The Apple Watch apparently gets FDA clearance to track Parkinson's symptoms. More on that watch. It's just going health. More about our requirements.
There's a joke I could make, but that's a very serious topic, so I'm not going to.
Don't do it.
I'm not going to do it.
Now, we often come up with these Apple Ones that have got signatures, haven't got signatures, are the actual number one Apple One, 11. one would have an Apple One, wouldn't one?
Yes, one would.
Now, we often hear about them actually coming up for auction, but this time this one says an Apple One signed by Woz has sold for $340,000, Guy.
Okay, see, this is a computer.
So you see, I've always told you. Can I just say,
connect to something?
Can I just say, I've always told you that Apple holds its money.
Well, whoever bought that is holding something else, because it's like you would spend $340,000 on a computer that you can't even hook up to a relatively modern display. Good job. Just to say, I've got an Apple One. Pass me the Grey Poupon. It's like, oh, shut up.
But
all
Guy,
of you.
But Guy.
Yeah, I'm not upset.
This is art.
Art.
Craig Federici promises stage manager improvements with upcoming iPad OS 16 betas. Now, I've heard a lot this week about this, and we have. I've got my views on stage manager, and I think I've aired them. But we are at beta 1, folks.
Yeah.
Just let it settle. There are a lot of things that could change before it actually comes to release. Once it's in the iOS, or once it's in the OS, and you're having to use it and you're hating it, that's when you need to complain, folks. And I'm not talking about our listeners, because we have a very discerning group of listeners that understand all of this. So, of course, there you go.
The part that cracks me up is Craig Federici, Air Force One, had to come out and say, well, something that we have in an early beta is going to get better.
Like, duh.
Yeah, it's like, really? Oh, wow. So you're telling me that it's not feature set on day one? Holy crap. Apple's doomed. Okay, sorry.
Apple and MLS to present all MLS matches for 10, read it and weep, 10 years beginning in 2023. So that Major League Soccer, that is, in the States, announced that. Apple. Now, that might be interesting if that is then global. So I assume it's going to be through Apple TV Plus. So that would indicate that are they going to actually then sell the rights to that to other people around the world, or are they going to hold on to it so it's a worldwide thing? Which actually, for me, I think is pretty cool. I quite like the sound of that. And if they got American football and did the same, I'd be even more pleased. But let's not jump ahead. There's an additional
cost for it.
Is there?
Yes. And not only is there an additional cost, but if it's limited, and because here's the thing, football or
soccer,
European football or soccer here in the U.S. is not as popular in the United States as it is basically everywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to market a product and reach the broadest audience that you possibly can, you try to get it on every platform that you can, and you make it as cheap as possible so that everyone can afford it. To sit there and say, well, it's only going to be on Apple's platform, and that might only be in the States. So if it is only in the States,
can I just interrupt you there though?
Sure.
However, Guy, the one platform that has probably got more eyes than any other platform is Apple's platform. As
a complete overall platform, yes. It's not the most popular streaming service.
No. But if you are really thinking that you'd want to get it, you're likely to have the device or devices to be able to access it.
Or the app.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on, because that's
but quickly speaking about American football.
Yeah.
There are currently two that have already played and one that's announced outdoor American football leagues in existence. You've got the USFL, which is getting ready to have its championship game. You've got the XFL, which is coming back next year. And then you've got Major League Football. Boy, I wonder how far they had to go to come up with that name. That's coming out in an exhibition style in August. So with all of this football that isn't the NFL, and would be probably much cheaper to get the broadcast rights to than a single game between Detroit and Houston, which are two really awful teams right now in the NFL. Why not do that? Why not bring that in?
Yeah, sorry about that, Tim.
Yeah. Yes, Tim. No, he knows. Every single year, we get, and I know, tangentially speaking, we get halfway through the NFL season. Tim, either on TechFan or,
Geeks Pub.
Geeks Pub. Thank you. Will come out and say, I'm not watching the Detroit Lions anymore because they suck. Every single year, Tim, and you know that's true. And every single year as the season starts, there you are on the edge of your seat with hope in your heart.
Yeah.
Knowing they're going to disappoint you, that they're going to break your heart.
Can I move on?
Yes. Yeah,
that was my fault. That was my fault because I went Tim, but yeah.
Yeah, and football.
I still have the rights to put a stop to you, okay? Because that is
well, you say that.
I say that, yeah. I do say that.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I say that with hope in my heart. German regulators open investigation into Apple's app tracking transparency. We'll see what happens there.
Are they Dutch? Are they Dutch?
What? German regulators.
German. Okay. No, see, they want their 5 million.
You see, you talk about me not paying attention to you.
About what?
Qualcomm bribed Apple, said the EU. But the European Court rules that this was not proven. Ha ha! So they're defeating themselves in Europe. I like that. Apple invites families to create and learn together during Apple Camp. What? I'm just moving on. There's no point dwelling on that.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking they defeated themselves like the French. But okay, I won't say that.
Don't. Yeah. Whatever you're thinking there, guy, don't say it. Oh, too late.
Too late.
Apple
just kidding, French people. You don't listen or watch.
You see, when you've got a shovel, stop digging, guy.
That's what a shovel is for.
And you've got it. Apple reclaims the world's most... Will you let me finish? Apple reclaims the world's most valuable brand title in a new Kantar survey. Yeah, so what? Apple now allows developers to transfer ownership of App Store apps that use iCloud. Apple previously had an app transfer program for developers who wanted to transfer their apps to a new account or new owner. But prior to now, it did not work on apps that used iCloud. And now it does. A claim for $750 million against Apple launched over alleging battery throttling. So basically, Apple is facing a multi-million-pound legal claim that could reimburse millions of iPhone users over a secret decision to slow down old phones in 2017. Now, we've heard this all before, but this hasn't happened in the US. I think it started off in France. This particular one is happening in the UK. Oh, yippee-doo, more money for the solicitors.
Apple, I don't believe, denies that they did this.
No, but people don't understand why they were doing it.
Exactly. And Apple has said numerous times why they did it.
Yeah.
So if you want your phone to last for 15 minutes, yeah, go ahead. Get your little sentiment now. And then when you turn on your phone and you look at an app, it's like, oh, I'm going to play this for the next hour. Oh, wait. No, I'm not. Dumbasses.
iOS 16 introduces a new room plan API for quickly creating 3D floor plans using LiDAR. All of this stuff goes to exciting futures, Guy. Don't you gist at that, but it's what the future brings. Apple apparently dominates ARM-based notebook processor market with nearly 90% revenue share. I knew that'd make you laugh.
Wow. Who would have thought that?
God, really?
Really? Or which way did they go, George? Which way did they go?
Apple is missing from a major tech giants agreeing to new EU rules fighting disinformation. Major tech companies like Meta, Microsoft, Google, Twitter, and others have agreed to new EU rules combating false information online. However, Apple is missing from the list of 33 tech firms.
Who decides that?
Who decides what?
What is misinformation and what isn't?
Well, I've not gone into that. I'm not. This is Gaz's snippets, Guy.
I know, but that's it. Anytime you've got something like this, two things. Number one, figure out who's making the decision.
Yeah, no. Stop there.
Okay.
No, because that will be done in the process. If the companies are agreeing to join that amalgamation of companies, then there will be a process which they are all agreeing to that type of disinformation. So I get your point, but I think that all of them are agreeing. The point here is that Apple is missing from it. So to your point, is there a process within that disinformation agreement that they don't like?
Well, there must be. They're probably, and Apple agrees with me 100%. I have my finger on the pulse of Apple.
Yeah. For dump.
Yeah.
For dump.
And that's right where their stock would go.
Apple Silicon likely to benefit as TSMC aims to launch 2 nanometer chips. Is that nanometer? I think it is. Chips by 2025. Yes, we know that they will benefit. Is the point. Apple Music and other streaming services lost over 1 million subscribers in the UK last quarter. I wonder if that's because people have gone, no, I now can't afford to listen to anything because I've got to pay for fuel. That's just a bit of...
There's the BBC, there's the BBC One, there's the BBC Two, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
radio. There's all kinds of radio.
It's all right. Look, Carl, I'm going to correct him. Don't worry, Carl. I'm going to... Guy?
Yeah?
You mean Radio 1, Radio 2, Radio 3, Radio 4...
Aren't they run by the BBC?
Yes, but they're called Radio 1. They're not. You're not going to watch BBC on... they don't do music so much. Carl, I tried. All right, Carl, I tried. You can't say I didn't try.
Good luck.
13 MacBook Pro with M2 chip is now available to order. This was last week, and it's being ordered. More on that story later. Apple's new 35-watt chargers with dual USB-C ports are now available to order. More on that now. The USB-C iPhone... Oh, no. More on that later as well. USB-C iPhone could become mandatory in the US as senators push for common charger law. Thumbs up from Guy for those not seeing the video. Apple places a historic bet on the live sports for Apple TV. So that's referring back to the MLS. We shall see about whether that bet works or not.
Raining money.
Some custom configured M2 MacBook Pro models delayed, Guy, since they've been ordered until August. So the orders have been flying out. That's why they've been delayed, I would expect. Apple's at work. This is a title. This is the subject line. Apple's commitment to supporting older devices with software upgrades is critical for enterprises with Macs, iPhones, and iPads. Now, it might be critical, but they don't want to get into that scenario that Microsoft found themselves. So it may be, a good commitment, but personally, Apple does pretty much commit a number of years back. But I think even in the enterprise environment, they'll still want to actually say, yes, but we are now moving forward. If you want to stick with us, you're going to have to buy new equipment. Which, when you think about it, is quite useful because who makes Apple?
Some of that, well, not only that, but some of that old stuff, it's a little vulnerable.
Well, yeah. But also, Guy, if you think about it, who makes Apple stuff?
Apple does.
Apple. Who makes Microsoft machines?
Everybody.
Kaboom! hits it out of the park. Now, Apple has shared some charging details for that new USB-C power adapter that I mentioned. And what I found interesting was, okay, so under most scenarios, the 35 total watts will be split evenly between two connected devices, with the exception being when one of the devices has relatively low power requirements, such as an Apple Watch or Apple case, where it will then increase a wattage to that device needing more power so it can get charged up more quickly. I like it. Apple Watch OS 9, apparently, this is a comment from 9to5Mac. Apple's OS 9, let me start that again. Watch OS 9 is Apple Watch's greatest update in 3 years. Wait for it. Thanks to the Series 3 being discontinued. So go over to 9to5Mac if you want to hear a little bit more as to why he thinks that. However, I agree that actually, if you get rid of older equipment, partly in agreement with what Guy said about some of the older stuff being more vulnerable, but equally, it gives you more capability to improve the capabilities of a device moving forward. And that
the other ones that are, because, you still have the 4, you got the 5, you got the 6.
Yeah.
So if you've eliminated the 3 from selling, then the various people out there that go on and on about, well, I bought a Series 3 just 6 months ago, and it won't do the latest thing that Apple says that their watches could do. It's like, shut up. Hardware doesn't last forever to get all the new stuff. Get over it.
And that is the end of Gaz's snippets.
So, yeah, I just put my foot in my mouth all the time. So, everyone.
And normally, folks, I will try to stop him, but this week,
good luck.
Just couldn't be bothered.
No. I'm going to get so many angry letters in a particular language that I can't read that I'll have to use Google Translate. So send all of your hate mail to guy@mymac.com, and I'll figure it out from there. I'll cut and paste into Google Translate. In the meantime, everyone stand by. And the two of us, and it's my fault if you hate the show, we'll be right back.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the second part deux of this week's Mighty MyMac podcast, or the mighty MyMac podcast. Now, Guy, what's on your shopping list?
My shopping list. And this is to give this a little context. What we're going to talk about.
No, just jump in. We don't like context.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
no. Give context.
Who wants a reasonable explanation of why we're talking about this? There's a bunch of stuff that has come out recently, and it's made, I know it's made me at least a little drooly, wanting to get it. And I started to think about that and was like, well, why do I want this? Is there an actual reason why I would do this? And I have some reasons. I'm not going to say that they're reasonable reasons, just that they're reasons. So first off, what is not on the list?
Oh,
AirPods or AirPod Pros. Because the ones I have, which are, I can't even remember if they're first or second generation AirPod Pros, are fine. The only thing I really use them for is when I'm podcasting, so I don't have big cans on the side of my head. So I don't need that. I also don't need a new iPhone, Gaz. The iPhone 14 is going to be, I'm sure, amazing and colorful and have terrific, even better cameras. But I don't really want or need a new iPhone. And the last thing, and this is going to make people gasp, get ready to gasp. No microphones are on this list. None. But there is a piece of audio gear that I want, and I will go into that when I get to it. So,
okay. So can I just jump in on that? Because
of course,
your what's not on your list is actually, in fact, on my list,
Mm.
which is either well, definitely I want to get another set of Beats Flex. You know, they used to be called something else actually, but they're now called the Beats Flex. They're relatively cheap. You can find them fairly cheap, and I quite like them. I've got a pair of, I went for a pair of Sony ones, which are the ones which have got a wire in, so they've got the
Mhm.
battery, you know, built in, and it's got the up and down volume controls, and they go in. And the Beats one always sat really nicely on my neck and always stayed in position. I found these Sony ones are always dropping off, and the weight of the bars pulls it down. It just doesn't stay there. I'm just not impressed at all with them. But I did like the Beats that I had, and I went through several pairs actually. And they got a battering. They got an absolute battering. However, what's also I kind of set, if money was no object, I'd probably go for the Beats Pro if I could get them in a different color, the AirPods Pro rather. If I could get them in a different color, which leads me to go, well, maybe I should get the Beats Fit Pro. And they are definitely on my want list at this point in time to replace the sets of headphones that I've got at the moment, because I quite like the idea of just having one so I can just pop it in and listen to mono podcasts. And by the way, any podcasts out there, you're a podcast, you're talking. Do not do stereo, okay? We don't need stereo on a talkie-talkie podcast. I don't want to have both ears blocked out because I've got to listen to Jack on one set of headphones and Jill on the other. Okay? Just a little clue for you all. Anyway, that's definitely on my list, Guy, which is not on your list. And
Well,
probably
there's a company, I'm trying to find it right now, and I don't see them. That they color various Apple products, and I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
have heard about those, and you know, I don't like doing stuff like that. I like stuff raw, Guy. I like it raw.
Okay. Well,
So
I don't know if they do. I think it's Colorware. That's the name of the company.
right, okay, but I have heard that actually for the extra 40 quid, I'm not really sure whether going for the AirPods Pro over the Beats Fit Pro would suit my requirement. So for the extra £40, you know, are they worth it? I know that they are good, and I've heard
They
everybody
are.
that I've heard loves especially the newer AirPods Pro, and I think they do spatial
Yeah.
music as well. Although I have heard from somebody not too far away. On a certain podcast we have mentioned
Oh, I was going to say, not
previously.
your wife. Not
No,
your
no,
wife.
no, 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 my wife. Who kind of says that Apple Music and spatial audio is not so good, but great for films. Well, I tend to watch films on the big screen with speakers, so I don't need them for that. So I think actually I'd probably end up going for the Beats Pro. And also I will be wanting iPhones, but I'll come on to that later because this was your list. And
No,
I
no, that's
did
fine.
say,
That's fine.
and I did say that actually I'd kind of let you lead on this.
Yeah, how'd that work out for me? It's not like I ever interrupt you.
Just get me own back.
Well, the one thing about AirPods, AirPod Pros, and Beats and Sony's and all the rest of them, to me, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I kind of have tinnitus. They don't sound all that great. None of them sound all that great. Yeah, that's what I said, tinnitus. So, and that's color COLOR. Okay, so got that straight. So the actual first thing on my list, I have a 2018 MacBook Air, and it works really, really well. I really like it. But what I use that laptop for mostly, and this is when I'm, obviously away from the house, is for audio and video. So saying that, the M2 MacBook Air, the M2, which has a much better audio and video processor than the M1, that would be my justification for getting an M2 MacBook Air, even though, the MacBook Air I have is a i3, i5 Intel. I can't even remember. And again, it works great. Battery life is terrific. But that's my justification for wanting to go with an M2 MacBook Air. Now, are you like tempted at all by any of the M2
Okay,
laptops?
In the note that you sent me, in the very brief text that Guy sent me, folks, earlier today, in terms of yesterday, what we should talk about, there was a mention of money no object. And if money was no object, Guy, I would buy not only myself a MacBook Air because I love the MacBook Air, although
Yeah.
I'd have to learn to love the new MacBook Air, which is apparently now thin from every angle.
Yeah,
Great
it doesn't
mark.
look like it basically it looks like a laptop instead of a cheese.
Great marketing speak, isn't it? Thin from every angle. Great.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, and I did steal that. Plagiarism is rife on this podcast. I'm going to leave that there.
Never.
I would buy one for basically everybody in my family, definitely, because it's just a beautiful machine, and I think the M2 new one would be great. But do I need one at the moment? No, because I'm using the iPad, which will lead me onto that in a little bit later, I think. So much that I would love to have one, I really have no way of saying I could, quantify the reasoning to spend £2,000.
Well,
dollars.
I get a feeling if I can get one before I go to Macstock, I will. If I have to wait until after Macstock, then I don't know when I would buy it, because Macstock is like the next big thing that I'm doing where I'll need something like that.
Yeah.
If I don't need it right away, then I have better places to spend $2,000. Next up, and yeah, it's a little petty, but iPad OS 16 and Mac OS Ventura are making me kind of want to go all in with M series for Stage Manager continuity and some of the other M only processes. So even though I have a perfectly capable 2018 iPad Pro, I really want the M1 version because I am a big fan of making devices that work one way work another way. And I went on and on and on about Samsung DeX, and I don't even like Samsung, but I think Samsung DeX, which is their plug a phone into a monitor and you have a desktop environment, is freaking awesome. I hope that they keep developing it, because it really is it's a great little piece of software for people that have Samsung phones. It honestly kind of is to me, that would be a huge selling point, and they don't talk about it. They don't talk about it at all, and I don't understand why. So with Stage Manager, this is kind of the first time that Apple has said, okay, well, you can plug this device into a big monitor and it's going to be actually usable instead of just mirror what you already have on the screen. So that makes me want to get like a 2021 M1 iPad or iPad Pro and a 2021 laptop, if just for that and some of the other stuff. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say actually, if money was no object, I'd probably go all out and buy the biggest and best iPad Pro 11-inch version, not the 12-inch version, because I think that's getting too big. Although, actually, if I did that and I had money no object, I wouldn't need the MacBook Air, so I might just go for the 12-inch iPad Pro. But my iPad, I'm starting to use more and more and more, and I've got a feeling that actually my next upgrade purchase from an iPad,
your next portable purchase,
my next portable purchase from that perspective would probably be a change, because at the moment I've just got the standard 10.2-inch iPad with the great big thick bezels, which is fine. And it does everything that I need it to, but actually I'm starting to use it more and more and finding a little bit of restriction. So I think the next upgrade that I get might well be to the iPad Pro over the MacBook Air, the iPad Air. I'm not sure about the iPad Air. That is something which I'd have to look into.
Isn't that still a Lightning connector?
Yeah, but I would definitely. This is not
even the M1 version.
This is a purchase which I don't need that quickly, so it would be, I'd wait until there was an appropriate upgrade to that sort of connectivity, definitely. But it would have to be. I'd have to look into it closely as to whether I get the Air or the Pro, and I think it might end up being the Pro, so I can do a bit more on it.
Okay, next on my list. we have gone on and on, both of us, about how fantastic the M1 Mac Mini is, and it
And
is,
still is, and
and
still
still
is.
is. The M1 Mac Mini honestly hit it out of the park. I
And
mean,
can I just say here that I heard Carl. I know we go on about Carl a lot, but that's because he's a friend
sorry,
of
who?
ours. I can't remember, but he was talking about the fact that he was doing a podcast. He was running all sorts of software, and he was doing lots of stuff in the background. And he said, "I'll just have a look at what processors are being eaten." And I think he's got a M1 Mac Mini as well, similar to us.
Yeah, he does.
And it was using 14%,
Yeah.
and he was doing a lot of stuff on there. It's perfectly capable, folks.
All right. For
However,
example,
Guy.
I have Hindenburg, which
Yeah.
is an audio DAW running and recording 3 separate tracks. I have Pages open. I have Farrago open. I'm running Loopback in the background to route all the audio. I've got like 10 to 13 tabs open in Google Chrome. And this machine isn't skipping a beat.
No.
As compared to, and for longtime listeners, you may remember way back in the day when we used to record this with GarageBand. You didn't get to see the heated and quite angry reaction. Gaz saw it. You didn't get to see it because my computer froze up in the middle of recording. And we would have to go back and start a conversation all over again. And I think I can say this without fear of contradiction. A conversation started a second time is never as good as it is the first time.
Agreed.
So, having said all that, the new M1 Mac Mini is awesome. However, the new media engine and encoders, decoders built into the M1 Max and Pro and the M2 are giving me a bit of a headache. So while the M2 Mac Mini is still on the design boards for Apple, I'd buy one tomorrow if it was available. Or maybe even the low-end Mac Studio. I was very tempted.
I have a distinct feeling, though, Guy, that the Mac Mini is going to stick a processor behind the Mac Studio. Yeah. And the Mac Studio is going to sit slightly behind the more empowered Mac Pro M series whenever that comes out. And I think that's going to, you're going to see not only a difference in what the model looks like, but actually the performance capabilities within it, because it makes much more sense to do that. So much that we would love an up-to-date M2 sitting in the back end of the Mac Mini, I don't think you're going to see that for a while. And I think you're always going to be in that position where we want the power from some of the others going down into the Mac Mini. And I just don't think that's going to happen.
Maybe. And here's why. The M2, as cool of a chip as that, is not as powerful as the Max or the Pro.
No. Hang on a minute. No. Correct. So M1 to M2, the M2 is more powerful. M2 to the more powerful Ultra and Pros, M1 Ultra and Pros is not as powerful as those. But actually, I think that's where they're going to differentiate between the power grading of the machines when they come out.
Okay, I'd go along with that.
So, I mean, I got to say, if money was no object, I can't justify it, but if money is no object, of course I'd go out and buy a Mac Studio.
What? $7,500? Here you go.
Yeah.
American Express. Bing.
Ka-ching.
Yeah. With an Ultra in it, which is basically just 2 Pros that are slammed together. So moving on from that, and depending on what might be coming down the pike, I have kind of dissed the Apple TV as of late. I have basically been saying I think it's going to go away. However,
I hope not.
I kind of hope not either. If they do release a new Apple TV, I will probably buy one, because I currently have 2, but the one that we have up in the master bedroom can't do 4K. I mean, and not that it matters, because we don't have 4K in that room or the other one that we have it connected to. But sooner or later, I will be getting 4K plus TV sets and I would kind of want my Apple TV to be able to put content on it.
Yeah.
So I would probably get an Apple TV and get rid of the older model that can't do 4K.
Yeah. So, and to that point, I think that if Apple go along the way they have been going, then the Apple TV HD will disappear, but they will improve the software so that the Apple TV 4K and possibly 8K, if that comes along as a device, has more capability.
I hope they don't call it that.
And can actually do more software wise, and that's what I'm hoping. But I think if they do improve the software, which I hope they do, that will mean that Apple TV HD probably won't be able to take advantage of that, and that will disappear in the lineup.
Okay. Do you have any other Apple products that you would update?
Yeah, lots of Airport Extremes, Guy.
Those are old.
Those are very old.
New stuff.
Yeah, but I'd want to. I want Apple to bring that out. Basically, new stuff is got to be Apple Watch. So I think this is starting to show its age. The Apple Watch 4. Occasionally, it has glitches in terms of its battery life, but that may be because I've got a couple of apps running on it, which perhaps I shouldn't be doing, and it's eating it too quickly. Because I then get mad with it, angry with it, then I just run one of the apps, and it's fine. So, yeah. and when it's a bit colder, but actually this year I may be thinking about moving to the next iteration of watches, according to what they can do with the health side.
I kind of get that because you, more than me, or probably most people, go on really, really long walks. And it's not like you're in the middle of a walk. You can say, oh, I need to charge up my phone, or I need to charge up my battery.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
You can't do that.
Yeah. So the downside of that is if you do have to manage your own expectations in terms of, right, we are going out. So I need to make sure that I have a fully charged device when I go out, and I'm going to turn off Wi-Fi. Because the one thing is it doesn't automatically turn Wi-Fi off. I don't know whether there may be a configuration I can set it up so that it'll actually turn Wi-Fi off when I'm doing an activity.
You can't go to airplane mode because you need the GPS.
Yeah, correct. So although it does a pretty good job of still tracking you, because I have tried that by turning, not the GPS, but I've turned
all the radios off.
The radios off, yeah. So, but it can only do it so well. It's not going to be as accurate. But certainly the Wi-Fi I'll turn off. Anyway, that's one thing that I'd like to see the new face. I'll have to go in to Apple and have a look at the new face, because it's more. I think it goes more to the edge than certainly my current version. And no, I don't care about whether it's a round face or not. There are plenty of watches in the past that weren't round, and I'm quite happy with this.
And nobody's buying them. I'm on the 6, I think, so I'm not looking to upgrade the watch anytime soon.
No.
Now, the last bit of tech gear may actually be the first one that I get.
Can I just say before you go on to that though?
Yeah.
Again, if money was no object, I'd buy the whole family the newest version of the right size of iPhone that I could, certainly. No, not everything. We'll get them everything.
Yeah, just why not? Money's no object. Baby, you're a rich man. Baby, you're a rich man too.
Maybe I'm a rich man.
Oh no, that's a different baby, you're a rich man.
Okay.
All right. So the last bit of gear is probably it's the least expensive of everything that I've talked about so far. And it's the only one that's actually currently available. And that is the Rodecaster Pro version 2. This is a audio mixer that has inputs for 4 microphones. It's got 4 combo XLR jacks. It's got this like cool little built-in screen that's at a better angle than the original one. It's got these preamps, Gaz, that will bring a Shure SM7B to its knees. And so, better preamps, better control scheme. It's just a great little device. And I've been selling some of the other audio gear that I don't use. I recently sold one of my DBX 286S's, the Yamaha mixer that I had, and I've got some other Behringer gear that I'm trying to get rid of over on Facebook. So look me up there. Cash only over here in Northern Virginia area. Yeah. So, but the Rodecaster Pro version 2 is out now, and it's getting like rave reviews. And again, you can tell from the quality of the audio that I'm putting out right now, and this is pretty good. I don't need it. The Lewitt LCT 440 Pure going through my remaining DBX 286 into a Motu M4 audio converter, whatever you want, audio device going through USB. It sounds great. It really does. I don't need this, but I want it. And it's available now. So that's pretty much all I got for this part, Gaz. Is there anything else that you would get? Oh, he's nodding his head no.
Hit it. Gaz's tips. Mostly. Gaz's tips. Mostly. Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip. Okay, this is a Mac OS tip, Guy. And I came across it, and there are times and times and times when I wish I'd known that I could do this. So if you're actually doing a little bit of copying and pasting, certainly when it comes to text, and you want to copy, very often I find myself, I've written something and I think, oh, that sentence or that piece would be much better in a different section of this text that I'm writing. And that actually would go with it as well. And that would go with it. And I've copied that piece, gone back, the whole thing has moved. And then I can't find the other, or I can't remember that other piece of text that I was thinking, oh, that should go with that. Well, hang on a cotton minute. You can, in fact, press Command, highlight the pieces of text that you want. Right. So you press Command, highlight the sentence or the words or word. And you can do this for multiple sections.
Skip around.
You can then press Command X, which obviously cuts it, or Command Copy, and then paste that all together. And it will paste in the order of the sentence that not in the order that you've copied it. Right. By highlighting it, but in the ordinance it is in the sentence, and it will paste all of that in that new section. Hey, voila, job done.
That is awesome. Oh, more nodding.
Hit it. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Okay, is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
And that is a plagiarizable tip for anybody else.
Yeah, honestly, I typically just use Control X to grab pieces and bits and pieces and put them someplace else. But the fact that you can use Command and just get the pieces that you want and put them someplace else, that is awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
There's no other links other than the timeout link for helpful Ukrainian sites to help them out, including the Ukrainian Red Cross and Doctors Without Borders.
Still needed, folks.
Still needed. Don't forget about that stuff. And I do have a 4-pick sake this week, guys.
Oh, I like it. I'm a bit of a slacker on the for pick's sake, but
it's hard to come out with new ones, which is why this is a repeat of one I've used before. But I was reminded of this because I did David Ginsburg in Touch with iOS on Thursday, and go check that out. And he reminded me about this piece of software, and it is awesome software. If you don't have a webcam and you need or want a webcam, you don't necessarily have to go out and spend a bunch of money to get one. You can, for free, you can use Reincubate's Camo and plug your phone via Lightning, eventually USB-C, Apple, USB-C, like the rest of the freaking world. Not that I'm mad, and then you can just use your phone as your webcam. If you want a little more functionality, you can get the Pro version, which you can actually put like lower thirds and all kinds of other cool stuff, as well as adjust the video quality. And that's like $40 for that. So Reincubate's Camo, and check out all the different things that it can do over at Reincubate. I don't actually have a link here. I will put a link in. There'll be a link in the show notes to go to it. It's great software. It really is. There's no feedback this week, but if you have done a review on some podcatcher of your choice, let us know about it through email, and you will receive a Woo T. That's big W, big O, big O, big T, little I, little E. That spells Woody. And I'd love to tell you what it is, but you have to see it for yourself. So go out and do that review thing. There you go. All right. If you would like to help contribute to the show, why would you? You can go to patreon.com/MacParrot. You can go to coffee, ko-fi.com/MacParrot, or you can pay a pal at paypal.me/MacParrot. That's all the various ways that you can help support the show. We really appreciate the fact if you did so, but you don't have to. We'll keep doing it anyway. Speaking of which, before we move on from that, this is show 898, which means that after this show, we are 2 away from our huge, and it's probably not going to be that huge because there's so much other stuff going on, our 900th show. We have a show we're going to do next week. When the actual 900th show is going to be recorded is in limbo. We don't know.
Yes.
So wait for it. And those who wait for it will be rewarded with another podcast. So. And I kind of hoped to get like Tim and Chad and David and some of the other people that we've had either have hosted the show or been on the show. The problem is we don't even know when it's going to be recorded.
No.
So it's not like we can just say, okay, all of you just stand by.
Yeah, because they will be standing by for a long time. Holidays, Grand Prix, being away is what's happening. And that's why
USFL championship games.
Yeah. All sorts of stuff. So
we don't know when it's going to be recorded. But boy, when it does,
it's going to be a zinger. It's going to be a zinger.
Yeah, that's what we tell ourselves. So, Gaz,
every week.
Each week is better than the next. That's our motto. That's our motto going all the way back to 285. Eventually, we're going to get to the point where we just stare into the camera and drool.
We're going to hit a black hole at some point. I think.
People will be like, please make them stop. Just please, for the love of God, make them stop. And if people wanted to say, please, for the love of God, make them stop and tell you about it, Gaz, how would they do so?
Ever so easy.
A segue.
Ever so easy. Send an email to Gaz, G-A-Z, at mymac.com, or on the Twitters, twitter.com/Gazmaz, G-A-Z-M-A-Z. Or you can contact both Guy and myself on the Twitters by contacting Guy and Gaz, twitter.com/GUYANDGA. Wait for it, Z.
Gosh. That was disgusting.
You can also send...
Very disturbing.
Disturbing more than disgusting. You can also send an email to feedback@mymac.com, FEEDBACK at mymac.com. Now, just so Guy can really feel happy.
His name was Guy. No fooling.
There you go.
And if you watch the videos, maybe the snippets, that'll make more sense.
Guy says...
What does he say? He says...
He's the guy.
So Guy says...
He's the guy.
That's a bit odd for Guy to say.
He's the guy.
But...
Guy.
Yeah.
You remember Guy?
Yes, I do remember Guy because...
Guy says...
He's the guy.
That's what he keeps saying. All right.
You remember Guy.
Yes, I do remember Guy.
Guy says,
What does he say?
He's the guy.
Oh, dear. If you want,
An email from Guy.
how would
There
they
we
do
go.
it?
So easy to do.
I suppose I should really get some more of those, shouldn't I?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's kind of an unusual name. There was actually, I know this is nothing to do with anything. A good friend of mine, whose name is Habib, was lamenting the fact that when he goes to the beach, you have all these keychains with people's names on them. There's never one that says Habib. And I was telling him, look, don't feel bad. I grew up on the beach, have been seeing these things since I was born, and there's never one named with Guy on it either. So don't feel too bad. So Guy and Habib, two names that you'll never see on keychains. How sad is that? It's even sadder that I brought it up. So if you would like to send me an email,
If you want to send Guy one of those
keychain.
keychains with Guy on it, his address is 1
Blah, blah.
Washington Street, America.
Yes, just send it right. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Send it there. It'll get to me eventually. You can reach me via email, guy@mymac.com or podcast@vertshark.com. Vertshark.com is the website that you can see all of the odds and all of the vids. I also have two Twitter names. The first one being Vertshark. Oh, I was hoping I was going to mess you up there. Or Mac Parrot. So we have, lastly, Gaz, we have a Skype number that nobody used this week.
Oh,
That's
never
sad.
mind. Never mind.
I know. We'll be
They
okay.
can't use it.
And
They
that
can't use it every week.
every week. Yeah, they could,
They could.
but they don't.
No.
They just don't. That number is 1 or +1 outside the United States. 703-436-9501. That number again is 1 or +1 outside the United States. 703-436-9501. And if you have like some kind of skin reaction to typing in a +1 or an O, that could be a thing. You could just not do that and go right to the Skype application and dial 703-436-9501. Now, this is the part of the show where we say thank you. Sincerely thank you to everyone who downloads and freaking listens to the MyMac.com podcast.
Not
We
threatening
really-
at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. The fact that I am 6'6" and have like this bikerish ponytail should not intimidate you at all.
No, because he's a big pussy cat.
I am. I really am. So again, thank you all. We really do appreciate it. And I would like to say, Gaz, that for show 898, I think we were good enough. And for 898, we were probably smart enough. And that in at least one picture, Wilf, I saw him, that cute little pup. People like us.
Unusually, okay?
Yeah.
Gianniwa, Kuns Alasakakiti, Gian Ukasti Kuns Alan, Muntawana, Ukatwa, Alasisipa. I thought I'd do that in a posh accent,
Yeah.
guy.
It was good.
I've got a great joke about construction, but I'm still working on it.
Of course you are. So you'll tell me that next week then, right?
Maybe, maybe not. End.
So you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on. Go on home and go home.